Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be showing you 3 Cyber Dragon combos that you need to know to play this deck. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So for our first combo, guys, I'm going to show you some really important Cyber Dragon interactions and how to establish an amazing field. So for this combo, we're going to open up a copy of Cyber Dragon Core and Machine Duplication, which Cyber Dragon Core is the best normal summon in the entire deck because it can search so many different cards. So what we're going to do is go ahead and normal summon out Cyber Dragon Core to our side of the field. And when this card is normal summoned, it lets you add a Cyber Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. And we're going to actually add a copy of Cyber Rev System from our deck to our hand off its ability. We're then going to activate Machine Duplication on our copy of Cyber Dragon Core to be able to special summon out 2 of the original Cyber Dragon. And you might be looking at this and going, how are you actually summoning 2 of the original Cyber Dragons instead of 2 copies of Core? Because Machine Duplication should summon out 2 copies of Core. Well, it doesn't. It actually special summons out 2 copies of the original Cyber Dragon because Cyber Dragon Core, along with Hertz and Nashter in the main deck, will actually count as Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. And your copy of Machine Duplication says that it special summons monsters with the same name. So you get to special summon out 2 of the original Cyber Dragons off of 1 spell card, which is awesome. Now, important fact about this interaction as well is if your copy of Cyber Dragon Core, Hertz, or Nashter when it's on your side of the field has their effects negated through cards like Imperm or Effect Veiler, or by another means have their effects negated, they will lose the ability that they count as Cyber Dragon on the field, so Machine Dupe would force you to summon out 2 more copies of Core, Hertz, or Nashter depending on which one you have on your side of the field. So keep that in mind as you're playing this deck. So now at this point, we're going to go ahead and link away our copy of Cyber Dragon Core and a copy of Cyber Dragon on our side of the field to make a copy of Cyber Dragon Seeger. Seeger is really good to be able to make because it can give your monsters a boost, and as you guys will see in the combos, this card actually comes up a lot in our combos. But this card is really good because it also counts as Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. We're then going to activate our copy of Rev System and bring back our copy of Cyber Dragon back to our side of the field. Now we're going to go ahead and overlay them both on our side of the field to make a copy of Cyber Dragon Nova. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and use our effective Nova to be able to detach a material to special summon back a Cyber Dragon from the graveyard. Now keep in mind, since this counts as Cyber Dragon while in the graveyard, you can activate your copy of Nova to be able to special summon back a Cyber Dragon to your side of the field. And since it activates to be able to detach, you then can special summon back the exact same Cyber Dragon that you just detached off your copy of Nova, letting you get your Cyber Dragon basically back for free, which is amazing. I love that about this combo because it basically works like a copy of Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon, with this card basically being the original, which is super cool. We can then overlay a copy of Infinity on top of our copy of Nova to be able to establish a negate on our side of the field, and also our copy of Infinity has the ability to target a face-up attack position monster on the field and attach it to him as a material, giving you a card off your opponent's side of the field, and he's a walking negate, which is absolutely amazing to be able to establish your copy of Infinity, a Cyber Dragon, and a copy of Cyber Dragon Seeger all on your side of the field. So for this combo, guys, I'm going to show you how to break your opponent's board and OTK at the exact same time. So for this combo, we're going to have a copy of Clockwork Knight, Duality, and Cyber Dragon in our hand, but this card can actually be interchanged with Core, Hertz, or Nashter in your deck, which is amazing because you just need a monster that counts as Cyber Dragon while it's on the field. So for this combo, we're going to assume that we're going second, and we're going to be able to special summon out our copy of Cyber Dragon to our side of the field. So what we're going to do is activate our copy of Clockwork Knight, and since our opponent will control a monster if we're going second, we're going to special summon out our copy of Cyber Dragon to our side of the field. Now once we do this, your copy of Clockwork Knight will make every monster on the field become a machine monster and also increase the attack points of all of our monsters by 500 and decrease the attack points of all of our opponent's monsters by 500, which is really cool that it just reduces the attack and defense of the monsters on the field to be able to make it so we can OTK our opponent a little easier. But the monsters aren't even going to matter on our opponent's side of the field, because now, since they're machines, we can contact fuse them away. Since we control a monster that is a cyber dragon, we can actually go ahead and contact fuse our opponent's entire field of monsters away to be able to summon out an awesome boss monster. So what we're going to do is contact fuse our copy of Cyber Dragon with all the machines now on our opponent's side of the field to be able to summon out our copy of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Fortress Dragon is really good to be able to summon now because this card will actually gain 1,000 attack points for every monster that you contact fuse into this card. Minimum at least 2, so it's going to have a minimum of 2,000 attack points on your side of the field, plus you're going to get a 500 attack point and defense point boost off your copy of Clockwork Knight, boosting this card to 2,500. You can then go into the battle phase and swing for 2,500 using your copy of your Chimera Tech to be able to just basically go over 2,500 points of damage. We can then activate our copy of Duality, which is one of those powerful spell cards in the entire deck because it has so many cool interactions in this build. So what we're going to do at this point is actually use our copy of Fortress Dragon for our copy of Duality, basically stepping into a copy of Twin Dragon. And you might be looking at Twin Dragon and going, how did you summon Twin Dragon? It's Duality. Duality has a really cool ability that lets you send a monster from your side of the field by tributing it to special summon a light or dark monster from your hand or extract with the same original type and level but a different attribute. But it has to be a light or a dark monster. So what we do is we go ahead and make a copy of our Fortress Dragon, which is a level 8 dark machine monster, and then we can basically tag it out with our copy of Duality to summon out a copy of our Cyber Twin Dragon, because it's a level 8 light machine monster and this is a dark, so we can tag into our copy of Twin Dragon and then swing in for basically 6,400, which is super cool because that is an OTK, because we did 25 for the first swing and then we did 64 because this card can attack twice and it's getting a 500 attack point boost off of Clockwork Knight. So now at this point you go 1, 2, and you win the game. So for our third combo, guys, I'm going to show you how to OTK your opponent using Cyber Dark cards. And it's super easy to pull off because all you need is a copy of Cyber Dragon Core, any spell or trap, and any monster in your hand to be able to OTK your opponent. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and normal summon out our copy of Cyber Dragon Core to our side of the field. And this time we're going to actually add Cyber Dark Realm from our deck to our hand, which is basically Rhoda for Cyber Dark. It also gives us an additional normal summon of a Cyber Dark monster, making it super easy to summon out our copy of Chimera. We're then going to activate our copy of Cyber Dark Realm, letting us add from our deck to our hand our copy of Cyber Dark Chimera. We can then use our copy of Cyber Dark Realm to normal summon out our copy of Cyber Dark Chimera, and Chimera has an awesome ability that it actually searches Power Bond. This card has the ability you can discard any spell or trap to add Power Bond from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability. But you can only use dragon or machine cyber monsters as fusion material this turn. Also, once, when you fusion summon this turn, you can also banish monsters from your graveyard as material, letting you use your copy of Power Bond, basically like a copy of Overload Fusion as well, which is amazing. So at this point, what we're going to do is use our copy of Chimera's ability, discarding a spell or trap from our hand to the graveyard to be able to add our copy of Power Bond from our deck to our hand. We're then going to go ahead and link summon using our copy of Core and Chimera on our side of the field to step into a copy of Seeger, which is great to be able to make that card on your side of the field because it's actually going to come back later. We're then going to activate our copy of Power Bond using our copy of Seeger on our side of the field and our copy of Core that's in the graveyard that both count as Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. So your copy of Core will actually get banished because it's coming from the graveyard, and your copy of Seeger will go to the graveyard since it's coming from the field. We're now going to go ahead and special summon out our basically boss monster OTK machine of the deck, Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. And this card's attack will actually be doubled, going to 42, and it also has a really cool ability that depending on the amount of fusion materials you use to summon out this card, you can actually target spells or traps on the field equal to the number and destroy them. This card also has a great ability that you can once per turn send up to 2 light machine monsters from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, for each monster sent to the graveyard, this card gains 1 additional attack during the battle phase this turn. So we're going to use that ability to be able to send from our deck to the graveyard a copy of Nashtra and a copy of Hertz. Now once you send these cards to the graveyard, your copy of Hertz will actually go off and let you add back your copy of Nashtra, since this card actually counts as Cyber Dragon while in the graveyard. With your copy of Hertz having the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to add 1 other Cyber Dragon from your deck or graveyard to your hand. A cool thing about this interaction is you can actually send another copy of Core to the graveyard if you want to, instead of a copy of Nashtra, to set up for follow-up plays later on, which is a really cool interaction for a Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, and I love that about this card, that it's such a powerful card that can get you to the exact card. You just always want to make sure you send a copy of Hertz to the graveyard, and then anything you want to add back to your hand. In this case, Nashtra. So we're going to go ahead and add our copy of Nashtra to our hand, which is going to help us out a lot in the long run of things, because now we're going to discard our any monster from our hand to the graveyard to be able to special summon our copy of Nashtra to our side of the field. Now once we summon Nashtra to our side of the field, it has a really awesome ability that if it's normal or special summon, you can actually target a machine monster in your graveyard with 21 attack or defense and special summon it, but you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except machine monsters, but that's totally fine. We're just going to get back our copy of Seeger back to our side of the field, which is great to instantly get our copy of Seeger out to our side of the field, because now we can use its ability to boost our copy of Rampage Dragon up by an additional 2100, essentially tripling its attack points, which is absolutely crazy. This card is now sitting at 6,300 and can attack 3 times. The only downside of this is when you use the effect of Seeger, it has the ability that this card does not inflict battle damage this turn, but it can still attack. So at this point, what you're going to do is go ahead and swing into any monster your opponent has with your copy of Seeger by entering the battle phase, then go in for the OTK using your copy of Rampage, going 1, 2, 3, and OTKing your opponent using your copy of Rampage, sitting at 6,300, being able to attack 3 times. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you did learn some awesome Cyber Dragon combos in this video and learn something about this deck. Cyber Dragon is an awesome deck that can easily OTK your opponent and also establish awesome negates like Cyber Dragon Infinity to be able to control the board. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. If you guys would like to check out the deck profile, as always, for every combo video, it is down in the description down below. But we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.